Hello, Keelan.
Hi, Walter.
How are you today?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Not too bad. Not too bad. So, we've been actually talking about this for quite some time, you and I. It's something that I have done, but you haven't done. Sounds really weird, doesn't it?
You've done and I haven't done yet.
Kissed a girl.
Dated a proper girl.
No.
Is it marriage?
It's it's more about babies. But in Korea, I guess it's still you get married first and then have kids. But I'm reading through this thing now that South Korea declares a national emergency when it comes to low birth rate.
Right.
It says that South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has declared a national demographic emergency due to the alarming decline in the country's population. I've had a kid. I've done my job for society. Is it something that you're thinking about because you're part of the younger generation? People are, choosing not to have children. Is it something that you're thinking about?
Look, it's a tough question, and I've been asked this question many, many times. In recent times, actually, even more, because that this is how serious this issue is, especially here in Korea, recording the lowest fertility rate in the world. I mean, it's not something you want to come first in the world for.
We've got some bad statistics when it comes to being first in the world. Suicide rate.
Depression rate. I mean, well, one of them is obviously the birth rate. Look, I'm not married yet, but not that it means that I can't have a kid. You can have a kid.
You can have a kid
before getting married.
Yeah.
But obviously, when it comes to having a baby, there are so many different steps you have to take.
Yeah.
One of them is marriage.
Yep.
And obviously another one is do you have a house to live in?
That's true.
Are you going to live in a proper neighborhood where you can raise a child in terms of education, infrastructure, and all those things? And you can't just neglect them and just choose to have a baby, because a lot of friends around me, they're like, I don't want to create more disaster.
Exactly.
By getting married and having a child.
Yes, it is a disaster.
You know so much more than me, and you're like my 선배 in this area. A big 선배, 대선배.
Yeah.
And it's something I do think about, but there are so many negative sides to raising a child and having a family, which has definitely changed compared to our parents' generation.
Of course.
Having a child was a blessing.
Yes.
But now it's a burden.
It's a burden.
It starts with the same letter, but it's a totally different meaning.
I think South Korea has dedefinitely made it more of a job rather than make it sort of a blessing, because we are declining. So if you had everything covered, your money, your house, etc., would you still be on the fence, or do you think you go, no, I definitely think children are for me?
I have 5 kids.
You have 5 kids?
I would have 5 kids.
So I've
always wanted to have many kids.
Oh, really?
Almost I wanted to create my own soccer team. Have at least 9.
Yeah, 9 kids.
That was
is enough.
When I was when I was young, being very silly. But that's how much I thought about getting married and having many children, having a big family. That's what I wanted, living in a big house. But now it's just complete opposite. Living in Korea. I don't blame Korea, but I think the environment really matters, where you grow up.
Exactly.
And, your thoughts change, and it obviously has changed. And I can't imagine myself living in Seoul.
Do you think you could be a D.I.N.K, a double income, no kids sort of situation as well?
Perhaps. Yeah. That's one option. But a lot of D.I.N.Ks these days, they choose to just raise a pet.
Yeah.
I'm not that type either.
Okay.
So I'm kind of, if I had the choice, I would obviously have a child.
Yep.
But I need to get married, have a house first. And if I don't get these two solved, obviously the child doesn't come.
What's the first factor, do you think, that is stopping you from having a child, except for marriage? What would be the first factor?
Woman?
Yeah. Obviously. Is it money, do you think? Money is the biggest one?
I don't want to say money, but it is.
Yeah.
That's the sad truth.
It is. The amount of money that I have to spend each month.
Like you will know better, right?
Yeah, for me,
I mean, how old is Yuna right now?
18 months. 18 months.
Like, I don't want to ask you like how much you have to spend on her, but
it's a lot.
It's growing, right?
It's growing.
It's increasing.
Well, it's only going to get bigger because we have to think about her education and whether we put her into Hagwons or you know, if she wants to do extracurricular activities or whatever. But it does not seem to be getting less. Let's put it that way. There are government benefits that we are getting, but it's
not enough.
It's not enough. I mean, to be honest with you, we're grateful for them, but there needs to be an improvement in the government funding, I think. But have you like heard of some of the solutions that the government they've been trying to, you know, obviously give more money. What else have they been trying? I've talked about this recently on the show that we're on, but also improving housing situation because it's so difficult to get a house. There was this dumb idea of like hiring international maids to improve the birth rate, which I didn't quite understand why that.
How's that gonna help?
Yeah, I mean, the international maids, you have to have a kid first before like even considering a maid. And I think the government are trying to help, but I don't know if they're asking the right people.
Exactly. I mean, the target has to be like people in their 20s, not so much like I'm in my 30s.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's even though people say, hey, you know, it's not a late age to get married, but it is in a way, especially in terms of the woman's side. You know, like,
yeah, right.
There is that optimum age where you can have a baby, and like the chances of having a very healthy baby is obviously going to decrease as you age. So I'm just thinking, wow, man, the more I age, maybe I should meet a younger woman.
Yes.
That's not going to be easy, right? I mean, that's a different kind of problem issue.
Yeah.
But I think, like it is a serious problem. I think it is a shrinking population. I think it's going to disappear. Like people are saying, like some experts are saying, you know, this country will disappear in a few decades, which is kind of true. We're on that trend.
Well, that's the thing. Like we are. It's really interesting that we're such a dense city here in Seoul, but yet we are, you know, an aging population, and everything seems to be going south in a bad way. Like I can't believe that this country is going through the lowest birth rate, the highest suicide rate, some of the worst, mental illnesses are here in Korea. I mean, they're all over the world, but yeah, we don't have a great reputation at the moment. But we got money. Yeah, we got money, but we don't.
It doesn't correlate with happiness. Yeah. Having a family, which is like the most, I guess, like natural thing to do as a human being, right? It's natural instinct, you know, to, I guess, you know, reproduce, but obviously we're not doing that.
So do you think it will improve, or do you think South Korea will be gone in a couple of 100 years? Yeah,
I don't have a very positive outlook for Korea. As a Korean myself, I'm just really contemplating, is this a country that I can live in until I die?
Yep.
I don't know. That's very questionable. It's only because the housing prices are way too high for any of us, any of like ordinary people in their 30s can afford. And like, there's a reason why people are not choosing to get married. I mean, obviously it's a different story for you. And I just wanted to ask you, like, are you willing to have a second child?
No, 100%
That's the thing, like,
that's 100%
even if a couple gets married and they only have one child, that's not enough, right? To keep the population going.
No, well, according to statistics, it's expected to fall by 0.68% per woman by this year. Now, it says in the article I'm reading, the National Statistics Institute has estimated that South Korea's population, now nearly 51 million, could be halved by 2100. We'll be dead. So
Most probably.
we'll be dead. So yeah. So but Yoon Seo-gyeol, he said that he's trying to improve balancing work and life to help.
That's one of the biggest reasons why women are not choosing to either get married or have a child because of their career. There's going to be a big break.
Yeah.
And they cannot really return as the same position.
Yeah.
So
it's something that my wife worried about was, having to have a child and then go back to like, is she going to be demoted? Is she going to be forced out? If people aren't aware, it's still sort of a culture here that, once you have a baby, you're sort of considered not useless, but
that's the end of your career.
Yeah, that's sort of the end of your career. And people are career driven, like women are career driven these days, which they should be, but in South Korea, it's got that still like conservative view of like women should stay at home and men should go out and make the money. But hopefully that changes and better work-life balance. I don't know if that's going to work here in Korea.
We are a hard-working race.
Well, we've got a 52-hour work week that is supposed to be implemented by the government, but no one does that. People work more than 52 hours a week.
We work way more than that, and I think that needs to change first.
Yeah.
Like, if we don't get the work-life balance worked out, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to work out. And that's what I think a lot of women are not really complaining about. That's what their argument is.
Yeah.
Hey, if we work less, if we have more life outside work, then maybe we'll think of, having a child and just being normal human beings. But hey, if that's not changed, how are we supposed to, it's kind of like the government's forcing us to, have children, but not creating that infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I think as well. The infrastructure is a very
paradox.
Yeah, it's a very big paradox.
Yeah,
but anyway, I hope that, I don't want to see Korea just fall apart.
Of course not, yeah.
But as a Korean, I can't force people to have babies as well. I mean, that would just be weird.
And obviously, it's like an irreversible choice you have to make in life to have a child. I mean, once you do, obviously you'll know so much more. It's a huge responsibility.
Massive.
It's a lifelong kind of commitment to raise a child. Even if they grow up and start, making money still. Yeah. As a parent, it's like an endless journey.
It's a hard job to be a good parent. It's an easy job to be a bad parent, I would say. So
that's the quote of the day.
Yeah. So a lot of people, to be honest with you, I'd rather a society with people that have good parents, less people but good parents, than more kids but bad parents.
That's so true.
Yeah,
that's so true.
If you've seen the generations that are coming up, I blame our generation. If you're watching this, I don't blame you specifically, but I blame a lot of our generation who are not disciplining their kids enough.
Exactly.
And so that's why there have been, what do they call it in Korean? The sort of tiger mums. Yeah. They are, there's tiger dads too, not being, just saying that mums are doing it, but there is a very big uptick, and it kind of carries over to, schooling as well, but that's another topic in itself. But I'm glad we talked about this today, and I look forward to one day when you have kids and I can be a good samchon for you, a good uncle.
If I do get married and choose to have babies, I'll have at least 2.
Yeah, at least 2. You can't get a soccer team out of 2, but you can get them to train together.
They'll be a training partner at least.
Training partner.
But that's one thing I can promise. If I do get married and choose to have a family, I'll have at least 2.
At least.
Because I have an older brother. Yeah. I know how it feels to have a sibling compared to being the only child. I got nothing against people who are only child. But
I'm an only child.
There you go. No, but definitely as a child growing up, it's so much better to have a sibling.
I agree with that.
And that will apply to my kids as well. If I do have kids.
We'll see what happens in the next couple of years then, my friend.
So the bottom line is, it is a serious issue in Korea.
Yeah.
As a dad, you've already done a great job for the country.
Yes.
But you don't have I guess, any plans of having a second child,
No.
which is another sad factor. But that's something else that it's Walter's kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
his choice. I mean, I'm not doing anything better than Walter.
No, one child is enough for me, but if you can have two, that's obviously going to help. But anyway, let's leave it at that, and hopefully we can talk about something else that's trending in the news next week.
Definitely. All right.
All right, man. I guess we'll have a good one, and we'll see you next time.
See you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.